Okay, so question number one, how do you feel about vaccines in general?
In general, I think vaccines are super important. They're a culmination of modern technology that help us to prevent diseases. And I'm really grateful that my parents had me vaccinated, and I think that they are a positive side effect slash result of, as I said earlier, modern technology and engineering.
Cool. If you had children, would you decide to have them vaccinated and why?
Yes, I would. I was vaccinated growing up. I remember like looking at my vaccine chart and feeling accomplished when I got most of them done. But just being grateful that these are diseases that people hundreds of years ago were dying from they're preventable. And I think that if there's an easily preventable mean, it's a moment of pain for a lifetime of having an immune system that better knows how to handle these viruses or diseases, that the risk far outweighs the benefits. Or reverse that. The benefits far outweigh the risk. It's a good thing, yeah.
Nice. Okay. Thimerosal is an additive put in vaccines to prevent bacterial growth in the serum. This is suspected to be a harsh chemical because it can kill organisms, but several government and public health sources indicate that it's harmless. Knowing its claims to be a potential danger but necessary to keep vaccines clear of bacteria, would you want vaccines to be administered with or without it?
That's a good question. I feel like I need to read more about it to make a definitive claim. And also, especially if there's competing sources, there needs to be more research done. But if it makes vaccines, you have to do a pros and cons. Because if it makes vaccines safer in the sense that there's not bacteria growing in them, which my sister experienced, then on one hand it's beneficial, but on the other hand, if you're injecting toxins into your body that are causing problems, then I have to learn more about it. But for the time period, based off the research we have, if the research currently is in agreement that it's mostly there are minimal side effects, I would say continue to use it. But if the research turns to show that it's causing more harm than it's preventing, then there needs to be new solutions.
Sweet. Okay. There is a great disparity in access to vaccinations around the world. For example, the vaccine scene is different in developing countries receiving the oral polio vaccine, the OPV, instead of the U.S. using the inactivated polio vaccine, the IPV. The oral vaccine is useful in only requiring a single one-and-done dose, which is good for developing countries, but it's been known to become reactivated on very rare occasions. Do you think this constitutes the approval to remove the oral vaccine from developing countries?
Do you have any more research on how often it does become reactivated?
It's very rare.
Very rare. What is the definition of very rare? Yeah, I don't know. I was just wondering. See, that's something, again, I need to know more about. But, again, like, if it's... I see the benefits of it being a one-time thing. And so I would say, for the time being, if the options are continue to use its OPV, continuing to use OPV versus giving none at all based on the conditions, then clearly continuing to prevent these cases. But with the understanding that there's still a need for, clearly if it is being reactivated, then clearly something not right for it. And so either finding ways to administer IPV, and we don't have that risk, finding ways to make that more manageable within these developing countries, or finding ways to prevent this reactivation. But in the long run, if it's in such a rare case, then that's only a slight chance a person would have that reactivation versus they're so much more susceptible to it if they don't get that vaccine. And so the risk is still there, knowing that it's not totally eliminated, but it's far decreased, and that's a risk that I personally would be willing to take because of the benefits that it's giving.
Nice. Okay. Has the aggressiveness of last year's flu season motivated you any more or less to get the flu vaccine this season?
No, I would say that I'm still. I'll say I'm on the fence about flu vaccines. I got them some when I was younger, and not saying that there was causation here, but I remember like the one time we did get flu vaccines, I ended up getting the flu pretty badly that year. And my oldest sister actually contracted a bacteria from what I think was a tainted flu shot. So I'm still. It wasn't necessarily the magnitude of the flu season last year. It's just personal reasons, and so I'd say that I'm still just as on the fence about it. I'm not super anti, but I'm not super for, and so it just kind of depends on other factors. So no, it did not impact my decision.
Very good. Okay, well, thank you for participating in this interview about vaccines.
Yeah.